Anyway, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, what was that?
Yeah, that was fucking weird. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for more fan fiction contempt theater. And you know what? I don't know if you guys saw this, but we did get a response from Mr. I'm going to write a mash of a script and Star Wars story way back in September. You might not remember.
Oh, yeah, the dude's like, no one cares about the formatting. And it's like, well, anyone who's worth their salt as a writer and reader would care.
Yeah, I triggered a couple people on side server with it.
Oh, good. I hope it was the people who were also not good writers as well, just to really hammer that point home.
No. I mean, it was Infanticus. It was, I mean, Crow's never posted anything that he does. So, I mean, maybe he's, bad,
Those
but
names mean nothing to me.
in fun, we had him on.
Okay.
He's the Pinoy,
Crow posted something,
Yeah,
but it was a one-off chapter.
I don't care. Infant, the guy I tortured, he came on. Pinoy.
Sorry, Crow is actually Arid of East Crest on QQ.
Again, I don't care.
I'm pointing out that he actually does have stuff posted.
Oh, he does have stuff. Okay. Is it just one-shot stuff, or is it actually like stuff?
I think he's got stuff posted.
Oh, well, interesting. Anyway, the guy comes back. Of note, he comes back roughly 15 days later.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it a pretty delayed reaction on his part?
Exceedingly delayed reaction. And my original response was, your English is terrible, your everything was terrible, you have the formatting of a brick, the fact that you put 100 words down before finally putting a period in is just god-awful. If there's a single thing in the world less intelligent, it was a nematode. And he responds with, lol, if that is what you're crying about, then I don't know what to tell you other than don't read it. Okay, well, first off, I have to read your... This is what I hate about don't read. I have to read your story to know if I'm going to like it.
Well, Sneaky, if you don't like it, don't read it.
It's like I have to actually get through some of the words in your story to see if I can tolerate it. Like, there was a story I was reading on QQ last night, which I'm really disappointed in Space Battles Insufficient Velocity that the Safe for Work section of QQ has people more dedicated to writing characters correctly than the supposed autistic kings. But anyway,
Wait, the SFW section of QQ?
There's an SFW section of QQ, yes.
That's like a glacial pace there.
Oh, I'm aware. The stories I was reading were dead for like 2 years. I was just, really curious, because I was really, really hoping someone wrote anything dealing with Supreme Commander, and there was like 2 stories. Period.
It's super dumb. What'd you expect?
Someone
well,
did
also
write
Planetary
something,
Annihilation.
Not as much as you wanted.
Yeah, it was just dead.
Yeah. Well, these things happen.
Yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, so point being is I have to read your story if I know I'm going to like it or not. Now, obviously, I can't really use that excuse super much because there is a summary section, and we did read the summary, and I did remark out loud, "Oh my God, this is terrible. Let's see what's inside." So fair enough. Your summary was awful enough that I normally, under normal circumstances, would not have read your story. However, we have had a couple stories on this podcast where I said, "Oh, that's interesting," clicked on it, and it turns out the story was garbage. So, there's also a couple of summaries where I've seen where I said, this is the worst summary in existence, and then I read 500k words of that story because it was actually good, and the author was just really, really terrible at summarizing their work. So, it's...
Yeah.
Coin flip, yeah.
Some people are awful at summaries, as you know from your time with me.
Yes. Is that a beep in the background I just heard?
I too heard.
Yeah,
I
that's
heard
on
it.
my end.
Where are you
Max,
hearing it
Yeah,
from?
Max,
camera
change
on.
change the ceiling bird, Max.
Turn that hallway alarm off.
What the fuck is the ceiling bird?
It's the ceiling bird that lives in your hallway.
Yeah,
It keeps
it
chirping
goes
at you.
cheep when
Oh
it's
god,
hungry.
Unironically, we're not
that's not
even
what's
like
making that noise, but okay.
yeah. Unironically, we're also not joking. That's unironically something that people actually say. Certain sections of people.
Weren't you trying to keep the podcast clean?
Yeah, dumb people. What were you thinking?
Also, I would like to take a
I
moment. Today has been just a fabulous day.
Mm.
I had the wonderful news. So I get into work. Everything's fine. Lights go fucky.
Hmm.
Oh, a transformer blew.
That's pretty normal. I don't know why, but it's pretty normal for you.
Yeah. We then had the wonderful news that
Mm.
oops, now the servers have been shorted out by this.
Oh,
What?
why were they not on a UPS?
They were.
You know the reason.
How,
Wait, no, no,
wait,
how
whoa,
did they
whoa!
short it
How?
So we no.
no.
So we switched over to the cloud service as the backup. That's working fine. We then find out that due to the nature of the fact that there's a short in the transformers, they have to kill all power to the building. And what was supposed to be a 2
fair.
to 3 hour job is now still occurring.
Oh, well, that sounds about right.
So you get to go home.
No.
No.
Oh no, we did.
Oh,
we worked
okay.
from home, and we tried to work from home for a while.
Mm.
Except, and I don't know why it's laid out like this, but so we could connect to Ensono, the people providing our cloud services,
Right.
and we could access our ERP system,
Right.
but we couldn't save anything.
No write access?
Oh no! You know what it is? The Active Directory's down.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense.
Directory was down. So at that point, my boss just told us all, yeah, just stop. You can't do anything.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my favorite was someone was cutting for a water line or something, and they cut straight through the fiber and power for like an entire 6 blocks.
Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
Ow!
That sounds like
And
a
the
plot of-
repair job was for 3 days because of how it was set up, and I was just like, these absolute morons.
That sounds like a plot of
That
Family
takes
Guy.
some skill to be that stupid.
They got sparkling water, didn't they?
They got some sparkling water.
Did they not
Average,
survey beforehand before cutting?
Oh,
no,
they
you don't
probably
understand.
did.
Even with a survey, those surveys aren't always accurate.
Yeah, and you gotta keep in mind, Max, that just because they surveyed doesn't mean they paid attention to it.
Well, there's that too.
That's
Yeah,
that's fair enough. 'Cause,
Yeah.
we found out the last time we had cable work done here for internet. For some reason, they decided to route a cable over a tree root instead of just slicing the tree root.
Why the
amazing.
fuck?
Yeah, okay, makes sense, totally.
And it's like, guys, just cut through the tree root. The tree will live. I promise.
No, the tree
They've
will
been here for
die.
like 20 years. They're promised they'll be fine.
The tree will die.
The tree will die.
No, they didn't want to break out the tool for it because breaking out that
Yeah.
tool would have required 20 minutes and filling out a form to say you broke out the tool and had to do this.
Truth.
Which, by the way, I want to. Speaking of breaking out the tools,
Yeah.
fuck the rail police.
Yes.
We had
Yeah,
a crate
Patton's company had some fun.
with lamps in it. We get this crate in. Now, Sneaky. There's a Max. Would you say that was like a 5x5 Great.
I had no frame of reference, so I can't really say.
Okay.
You
Lamps
just
are
sent
about
me a
5
picture of a
feet.
crate, and I had no frame of
Yeah,
reference.
sure,
for it.
whatever, yeah.
Now, Sneaky. So this is a 5x5 crate.
Yeah.
You, the seal is broken. Do you, as the Chicago Rail Police, open the sides with a crowbar on the convenient side panels meant to be crowbarred off? Do you use a hammer and nails and open it the right way, which will almost certainly inflict no damage, but may take you a few extra minutes? Or do you B, just take a crowbar and smash in the top of the fucking crate? Or C, just smash in the fucking top with a crowbar? Just smash it right in.
I'm gonna assume they went with D and continually smashed the whole box until candy fell out.
There's certainly something that fell out. Shards of glass from our lamps.
Hey, you know what? At least they weren't like the
yeah, how many
Florida
of
people
those
that tried
lamps
to
were
fix our
broken,
water.
by the way?
10.
Okay, well, you
10,
can build them.
We are, but that doesn't help me now.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
That supervisor is going to be so upset with them.
No, he's not. Max, we're talking about the Chicago police here.
Sneaky, that's exactly why the supervisor will be upset. Who do you think has to fill out that paperwork?
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fair enough. I just assumed he would pawn it off on someone below him and they would fill it out incorrectly.
But
That
Sneaky,
still
he
takes
does have a
effort, Sneaky.
Sneaky.
He still has to tell someone to delegate it.
A, he's supposed to tell someone, and B, Sneaky, you're forgetting.
Yes.
He does have a government job, and if there's one thing that government employees can actually get in trouble for, it's improper paperwork.
Fair.
It's the
Yep.
one thing, but boy,
It's a thing. Yes. So anyway, the guy goes on to say
Yeah, I expect you to one of those things.
that no one cares at all. No one in all of the planet cares about formatting. Yep.
This guy cares.
Well, he cares enough to start swearing at me. Also, it is purposely
Publishers
meant to
care
be a
as well.
script. That's right, guys. I'll just bring this up as a reminder of what we're dealing with here. It is let's see here. This story here. This guy believes that this is a script. This is what scripts look like.
That's right. It wasn't even a correct. That's right. It wasn't even a correct script, was it?
No.
Was it?
No, he's calling it a script because of the dialogue parts. Where he does everything
Twitch.
not even correctly by a script. Like, that's not even how you write script dialogue. But yeah, he's calling this a script. So anyway. And that huge chunk of words is supposed to be description of what something looks like or what is happening. Yes, but you don't put it as a huge chunk. Like, honestly, it honestly looks to me like he has literally never seen a single story that wasn't fan fiction before. Because that's what it honestly
What
reads
is
like.
possible?
Yeah.
Very likely.
Unfortunately.
Literally, oh my god, writing fan fiction is about plot and having a good story. Ironic, because you have neither.
Lol. Lamau even.
Not formatting. No one cares about formatting in fan fiction.
Bro, there's so many, like, potentially good stories that have been ruined by the lack of formatting.
Oh, yeah, I know. Get your head in the right place, because you're wasting my time. Well, I'm not. You're wasting your time, because you sat there and penned all this. You could have just
You
ignored
don't
me.
understand. Sneaky has accepted his lot in life as the gremlin.
I am the
You
taunt. I will stun lock you. Also, if I don't reply fast, it's because the website is bad.
Yeah, sure.
Also, before you go, these are 3 separate PMs, by the way. Also, before you go, spouting about my text being a brainless wall of trash format, just know that your story is even worse than mine, and you have no right to judge me because your story is terrible. So, my story.
You know, you could have come back to him with the ever ultimate, but I was paid to write this piece of trash.
Oh, I did. I did
Okay.
later on, yeah. I always come back with that because it's always hilarious.
See, I was paid to write this garbage. You weren't.
I love that comeback.
I always do love it because it's always like, well, I was paid for this, and like,
Not only were you paid, the person who paid you approved the chapter
yeah,
before you posted.
yeah.
Like it's not your proudest work, no, but
But hey, you
it's
made money from
tangible
it.
results, tangible benefits.
Like, honestly, like, come on, this is a good summary too, you know? Seedy underbellies, sketchy dealings, dictatorships, villains, and an unending horde of murder monsters. Oh, I misspelled that word instead of of. Anyway, Remnant is not a bright storybook land to live in, but humanity does what it does best: survive. After all, it's a wide, strange world out there with aspiring heroes around every corner, and after all, everyone has a dream. It's pretty good.
Fairly simple summary. Yeah, I'd say your summary's solid.
I don't spoil anything going on. I succinctly tell them the themes of the story.
But you didn't tell me the pairing.
Of course, yes, my bad.
I think what also makes it kind of sad when these people kind of try and talk your fic. It's like they don't even say why it's bad.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
if
it's
they
just,
do,
it's
they don't
worse than
say.
mine. You're dog shit.
Yeah,
It's
like
okay.
that's all they say. They just go onto the fic, leave a bad review. They don't even actually bother reading it. They're just pissy and just leaving a
Yeah,
hate review.
I have
It's sad.
so... this guy over here, imagine having a good sense of grammar structure. It's like, my dude, I do.
How is that supposed to be insulting?
She
That's
dashed
bad.
through the
Wait, hold on a
forest,
minute, wait,
dodging
hold on a
trees
minute.
with speed
What?
and skill. Period.
Why does he think that's an insult?
That's kind of what I want to know.
Well, what he's trying to
It's
say is, he's trying to say, he's doing the meme thing where he's like, oh, imagine being a good player. You can. Ho-ho. Got him.
I mean, you can't
Oh.
imagine being a good player. You play mid Necrophos and think you're good.
I know. I was just using it as an example, Nose. No need to get all crooked about it.
No, I'm sorry.
Anyway, so, yeah, this guy's like, oh, imagine having a sense of grammar structure, and it's like the first fucking sentence is the most grammatically correct shit that ever existed on this fucking platform. It's like, you guys are just mad that I'm better than you. Because I said your stuff was bad. And then you come over to my story and go, well, he's not writing like me, so therefore he's bad. When I sit there and go, well, you're not able to write legibly, so you're bad.
Good question. Has anyone actually pulled what FTDS did use? Like, unless you have enough followers, you're
No.
not worth my time.
FTDS is so far the only person that's pulled that.
Still hilarious that you have like several fics that outweigh him. At least some of his worst. Or what was it? Did he say like his worst fic?
Until
more
my worst fic beat his best fic, or something like that. It was, or the other way around. My best fic beats his worst fic, or something like that. It was something really stupid.
Yeah. the sheer arrogance he has, like. It's
Not
sad.
only is your story unfunny, but it displays your inability to write. Ah, wow! Look at that, guys. Oh, I can't see humor listed anywhere in my story.
I was about to say, it's like your summary gives no indication of humor.
God forbid I don't write a Marvel funny adventure. Yeah, no, it's just these people are just mad. They're just mad. They're mad that they
They're mad.
write
Oh, yeah.
garbage. Because this guy is really out here calling me bad with grammar and plot outlines when literally we have 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, 5 line, 6 lines before he actually puts a period in. And that's with me zoomed in. So what is it like if it's a normal speed? Okay, a mere 5 lines instead of 6. Yeah. Okay. So I just responded to him. I asked for some help on Sign Server. I just was like, all right, well, bandwagon fallacy, red herring fallacy, argument from ignorance, appeal to authority, appeal to popularity, L plus late response plus 2 don't like, don't read, don't review fallacy. I'm
I
not.
really hate that one of those is exclusive to fanfiction.
Yeah.
Like, why does this fallacy exist? Because of people like you.
Yeah. My favorite part is that time, I think it was like a year or 2 back, I don't know if you Atin and Max remember it, but that time we got a PM from someone who said that the point of the review section is to tell me I did a good job, and it's not for criticism.
Mate,
Yeah.
Okay. As someone who generally received positive reviews, there came a point where I'm like, man, I sure wish someone would give me some actual fucking criticism.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know.
I don't think I can grow as a writer without going back over my stuff. Which, to be fair, by the time I had that realization, I'd also started my first reread of my original story. I'm like, wow, this is awful.
I feel that.
Yeah.
One guy,
I think every 2 years I reread my first one just to be like, all right, okay, no, there's still solid ideas here. I can confidently say that I had something cooking. I can also confidently say that I fucked it up
Yeah.
so bad.
I
I
mean,
just look back at my shit and just say, man, that was trash, and I should have listened to that one guy.
yeah. That one guy probably being me.
No, it wasn't. You literally just left a guest review, fake naming, what was his name, Jay Burke, saying this is shit, and that was it. As a guest review.
Oh, thanks, dude. Can you give me something more?
No.
I just knew it was sneaky because he told me, and I looked and I saw an extra guest review, and it's like, oh, it's him. But no, I had one guy who left like a genuine criticism that I think I just got big-headed or egotistical or something, whatever, and dismissed about like my pacing being shit. And I looked back and he was right.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like, look, back in the day, I used to give genuine long-form reviews. I'm talking like long-form. I'm talking like literally max length reviews. And I got some positive responses. Then 2015 happened. And it was like a switch got flicked in everyone. And the amount of positive responses I got back from people actually getting criticized by me was literally 0. And I tried to go on forums and talk about it, and I would get banned from them. And I would try and go on Discords and talk about it, and I would get banned from them. And the one Discord that didn't ban me, the r/fanfiction Discord, just pretty much ignored me. And every single time I tried to give people constructive criticism on that one, I would get shouted down by 30 people. Like, it took me like several hours one day, because I was like the only one active, talking with this one person and finally convincing them to, you know, like clean up their act and like get better at writing and improve themselves. And I gave them a bunch of resources and examples and a whole bunch of stuff. And then, like, I don't know, it was time for everyone to get on, and they all flooded into the section and just like spammed me out of it effectively, telling the person that no, the work is great as is because it's an expression of their individuality and crap like that.
Oh, good lord.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, Sneaky, you may have on the cusp taught the next big author,
I might have.
and it was ruined.
Yep. Well, I
by
mean,
those people.
honestly, that goes with a lot of people. Like Leaf Ranger, for example. That was a guy that has absolutely ruined himself, much like Quatermass or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, I remember Leaf Ranger.
Yeah.
I only remember him because you told me about him. Because it's like, oh yeah, I somehow talked Noodlehammer to Leaf Ranger, to looking at our really shitty little crossover we wrote ahead of time on our Dark Souls story. for
Is this my
Contempt.
origin story? No, my origin story involves a lot more violence.
His origin story is he existed. The end.
Yes. No, this is just why I moved on to a more mockumentary format. Because I just got tired of, putting a whole bunch of effort in trying to help people, and then being told to screw off because I didn't suck their dick effectively.
You know why that is on FFN and FFN specific subreddit, right?
I'm aware. I mean, it also happens on Sufficient Velocity and Space Battles, and I mean because they're both very hugboxy now. In fact, the mods made it illegal to negatively comment on someone's story on, I believe it was Space Battles.
Excuse fucking you?
That's
Yes.
cringe.
That's a very dumb way to do things because criticism is oftentimes misconstrued as negativity.
Yep. Yeah, they're literally hugbox only websites now.
That's cringe.
Yeah, it's really cringe.
Yeah, no, the reason I post to a public forum is to get criticism, not a hug box.
No. You post to a public forum because you want everyone to pat you on the back and say good job, no matter what.
I'm sorry to tell you, you've misunderstood the point of the internet. It's for affirmation and validation.
Yes, exactly.
Not to grow as a person. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, no, I literally got banned from someone's story thread.
Oh yeah, that one. I know.
Yeah,
you gave criticism, he accepted it, he liked it. Then a mod came and said, "No, you're not allowed."
Yeah, no, literally,
Something like that?
I was super harsh. Like, I gave some absolute, like, napalm criticisms to this guy. And he's like, oh, well, what do you mean by that? And so I was like, okay, well, he actually responded to my criticism with not just, no, I'm perfect and amazing. So I was like, all right, fine. So I sat down, I wrote out this whole big, long review of everything that he did wrong in his opening act of his story. Too much detail here, too little detail here. Your OC is, like, already god tier amazing and knows everyone, and everyone already likes her. It's an OC. It's an OC and Worm. It's an OC and Worm taking place in not Brockton Bay with none of the Brockton Bay characters. And I was just like, look, these are all very uninteresting things. Worm is a terrible world to write in if you're not writing about the Brockton Bay characters. Both from a interest from readers' perspective, but also because the rest of the world kind of just sucks. Like they literally made it that, like, there's one villain in LA. There's one villain in Texas. There's one villain in Chicago.
Only
Sorry?
one.
No, it sounds like for some reason these places are now suddenly the best spots to live in the U.S.
Yeah, because, like, Wildbow made it canon that Brockton Bay having, 30-some capes in the city was outlandish.
No, that seems quite normal.
Or I'm putting you on push to talk if you don't stop.
Sorry.
Small?
Outlandish is in
outlandishly
large.
high.
Yeah.
Oh.
They had so many capes in Brockton Bay that people would joke canonically about how there's something in the water turning all the people into capes.
No, it was really just Shadowstalker being a bitch.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I thought the whole thing was that they have an absurdly large number of villains, not capes overall.
Just capes, period, yeah.
I completely just missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, they do have an absurdly high number of villains.
But that's because villains outnumber capes like 3-1 canonically.
Well, also that, but also at the same time, it's like if you get your powers by having the most traumatizing day of your life, you're probably not gonna be like, I'm gonna go be a good person now.
Which is why villains outnumber good guys.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. That's fine, and that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's perfectly fine. It's just a part where it's like, Wild Bow basically canonized that villains don't exist in the rest of the country. Despite being outnumbered 3-1, villains basically don't exist anywhere else besides Brockton Bay, despite the fact that there's like full, 20-person roster hero teams in every other city. Yeah, Wild Bow is bad with numbers. Really bad with Wild Bow believes that the ABB had 12 people in it, and also believes that the Dock Workers Union had 2,000 people in it, in a city of 300K on the coastline.
You know, I feel like I would suddenly be a lot less worried about gangs if one of the more threatening ones is only 12 members, despite 2 of those members being capes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from Lung, we can just suffocate them through sheer mass of dock workers.
Yeah.
Now, you don't want to do that, but if they're there telling you, pay us money,
Or
and
else.
the answer is,
Yeah.
no, we'll beat your ass.
Yeah. So Wild Bow's infamous for just not knowing how to numbers at all whatsoever. It's also very uninteresting. It's like, I don't really want to read about some random person living in like Seattle. And even if you ignore Wild Bow, right, and you make it so that like there's about an even number or even more villains in Seattle than there are heroes, just so you can have some actual like stuff happening in your story, none of it matters, because you're reading a Worm fanfic and you know the ending of Worm. Well, you should if you read Worm, and you know the ending of Worm. And so you know that literally nothing that happens in Seattle matters at all to the actual plot. It's like
Seattle doesn't exist.
It's like reading a filler arc of fan fiction.
How do you have a filler arc of fan fiction?
By writing about an OC self-insert taking place on the other side of the country and never interacting with any of the characters from the main story.
Yeah, that's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah. And so, I laid all this out for the author, and they're like, oh, yeah, that's fair. And
wait, you mean he actually listened?
Yes. And I was like, okay, well, I appreciate you taking my criticism. I'm not going to read the rest of your story. I hope you understand that. But, good luck writing it if that's what you want to sink your time into. I'm not going to tell you not to write it. I'm just, telling you why you shouldn't, but I'm not going to stop you or try to stop you. And they're like, yeah, no, you raised some good points. I don't expect you to read my story even after I fix it up. I do want to write this, however, so I will keep writing it. I was like, okay, well, take care. And he's like, yeah, thanks for the criticism. Bye. And then a week later, a mod comes in and bans me.
I love that it's a full fucking week later.
Oh, yeah. That was the best part about it. Like, a whole week later, I get a notification that I've had penalties applied to my account because the mod banned me from a thread a week later. And then I went and looked at their comments, and their comments were like, don't listen to that sneaky devil guy. He's evil and wrong and cancer. You're perfect the way you are. Don't change any of your writing to please him.
So, same old shit, different anus.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's just like, okay, well, first off, they said they were going to change it, not to please me, but because I was right.
Someone took criticism and was like, oh, okay, thank you. And then everyone else was just like, no, you can't do that, you're giving him ammo.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
I hate the fact that every single fucking time you have to deal with people like this, you're constantly proven right. Because I want to constantly be just like, no, there's good people out there. There's people that will, like, listen. There's people that will have, like, a positive reaction. And yes, you did find some. And then the other fucking moment, someone decides to go, I'm just gonna prove Sneaky right. And make Nose look like a fucking naive
Hold
little
on!
shit.
Sneaky was wrong in this instance. We can't have that. Gotta prove him right. I gotta go sink this boat. Yeah.
I don't think here's the thing. I don't think it's Sneaky must be right. I think it's Nose must be wrong.
Ooh, that's another powerful one. That's true, yeah. One thing I wanted to say regarding that switch on people talking about criticism for my old work, I wasn't how dare you give criticism to me, but rather I thought he doesn't know what he's talking about because it seems fine from your point of view. I tried asking for genuine advice, but he didn't really help with an example or anything, so I simply dismissed it. Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, no. That is why back in the day I did those giant write-ups of like comparing things to other things that were, you know, popular properties and explaining why what they did doesn't. I can see that they were trying to aim for XYZ, but you ended up on GQSTR. So here's how you fix it. This is why you fix it this way. Like I did the whole 9 yards back in the day. Then people just stopped accepting that.
What I hate is criticism where my response only needs to boil down to people are fucking stupid. The characters don't always have to act, you know, like rational, competent people because they're supposed to be human. And they don't fucking get it.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a certain degree of, unfortunately, intelligence required to model not you. And, unfortunately, the average intelligence of a lot of people is below that. So they look at stories and they will go, well, that's dumb. Why didn't they just do the thing I would do? Because my thing is better.
The problem is there's
Backstory.
actually a trope for this.
Oh, I
and
know.
It's what is it? Fiction has to be believable. It has to make sense, whereas reality doesn't.
Yeah, reality is more unbelievable than fiction. Some of the stories that I could tell about my life would make you look at me and go, no, he's clearly making this shit up. And it's like, I'm not. There's some insane things that have happened to me in my life.
I mean,
as a
let's be
famous
honest, Sneaky, that's
African
pretty much the
warlord has
entirety of
said.
our time
Yes.
at Champlain.
As a famous warlord has once said,
Yeah.
we enter a realm that is completely divorced from reality, because it's stranger than fiction.
Yes, pretty much. And the thing is with fiction is you have to present, air quotes, reality, and you can't have crazy, you know, absolutely insane stuff happen in fiction generally, because in a story, generally, the audience has to be able to follow along with what's happening. You can't, like, it'd be like the equivalent of, like, Star Wars, you know, the 4th episode, the real ones. Star Wars in the middle of the movie, as they're escaping the Empire, a random Empire patrol fleet shows up and shoots them out of the sky, and then we move on to different characters. Could it happen? Extremely likely. Would the readers / watchers be okay with this?
Never.
No. Of course not. Because at no point... Now, would they be okay with it if, like, throughout the story, we were getting told in some way that, oh, it's getting dangerous, you know, we have to cross through a patrol path of the Empire, and then the next scene they cross through the patrol path of the Empire and get blown up? Well, yeah, now you have the audience aware that this event could happen, and so when the event happens, they go, oh, I see.
Yeah. You could also have it, like, if you have to have the thing happen, but you don't want to lose those characters, you can go, okay, maybe instead of just shooting them out of the sky, they go, okay,
Tractor beam.
stop.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole bunch of things you can do, but my point
there's so much
being
writing.
is that Yes, technically speaking, completely random, just like, oh, the Empire ship had one of its engines fail, so they dropped out of hyperspace halfway along the line to repair the engine. And that just so happened to be the 1 in trillion chance that they, the heroes of the story, also dropped out of hyperspace at that exact same moment in that exact same location, and the Empire just overwhelmed them and the story was over, because that is just rotten luck, and that's just how the cookie crumbled.
See,
No
these are the
one
type
likes
of
that.
writers. These are the type of writers who got rocks fall to everyone dies and think that's good writing.
Yes, they
Literally,
are. Yeah.
this is something, I don't know if this has been said before, but literally every single bit of writing is yes
Oh,
and, not no you can't and fuck you.
yes.
That's not how you do writing.
Yeah,
That's-
the thing is that a lot of these people grew up on, yes, the D&D stuff, but also some of the video game stuff where, yeah, the video games back in our era didn't tell the most coherent stories sometimes, and they would have random elements pop up in the
They
game.
didn't tell the most coherent stories sometimes.
And they would have random elements pop up in the game, and sometimes it would be like, oh cool, this is great, like the flood level in Halo. And sometimes it'd be like, what the fuck is this bullshit?
Like the flood level in Halo.
Like the flood level in Halo. Yeah.
Ah, yes, the library. My favorite level to do on Legendary, he said, crying silently.
Yeah. But it's
Silently.
just silently, yeah. But it's just like these people took the wrong lessons from them. And on top of that, they're also not creative. And on top of that, they're also not able to understand the characters they're writing. So you have someone who can't understand characters that aren't them, writing a story they don't understand, thinking, oh my god, wouldn't it be totally cool if, like, Harry's at Hogwarts on the first year and then, like, a dragon explodes through the wall and, like, eats Ron? No,
Wouldn't that be cool, guys?
That would immeasurably improve the actual content of the story, mostly because Ron is removed, but
What's
They can accidentally make a story better, Atin. I didn't say
I'm
that's
just
not
saying,
possible.
Listen, you actually came up with a great plot idea there, so
But what I am saying though here is that they believe that wild and wacky things happening in their story is cool because they thought of it. But when they go to read my story or Sign's story, they go and look at the characters and they're like, that's not how I write the character, you're bad. And it's like, well, yeah, you just don't have the ability to comprehend opinions that aren't yours.
Wild and wacky, but just people being selfish, ignorant, assholish, normal people.
Yeah. I know.
well, and here's the thing: you got to draw a fine line there, because if you make everybody too much of an asshole, you're going to get people who are like, why can this is one of the big problems with Worm.
Yes.
Why can literally no one in Worm
Function.
be a fucking functional human being? And I understand, I really do. I understand triggers, but I got news for you.
Yeah, no, it's actually genuinely funny because of that Worm story I was reading. I stopped reading it, by the way, because I was reading the story. I was like, wow, this author wrote Taylor amazingly. I can't read it because I fucking hate Taylor, and I want to punch her in the face.
God, yes.
Which story?
A Worm story, accurately written. Yeah, no, you don't even. I don't have to tell you the name of the story. It's just a Worm story that's been accurately written for the personality of Taylor, and it's just like, oh god, I hate her. Yeah,
But
Pepe the Frog
and
doing
that's the
great.
problem,
Yeah,
is again, really, I get it, I do. Speaking as someone who experienced
a
mild
triggering.
bullying.
Do you have powers?
No. Right, but speaking as someone who experienced mild bullying, I'm not gonna go out here and pretend I had sneaky levels of bullying where someone was attempting to, like, murder me. but you know,
Yeah.
I went to school with the same people for
12
9
years.
years, and they all I ever was the lonely nerd.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
You know, I certainly got punched and hit and kicked and etc. That did not embitter me to all human interaction. Quite a bit of them, certainly, but not all. And I get it. People literally triggered. It's the worst day of their life. Not all of them are going to turn into irredeemable, unrepentant assholes that hate humanity.
Especially the ones that are supposed to be heroes.
They wouldn't have bothered going out as a hero in the first place if they were so fed up with humanity.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with Worm, and it's why I always get
That is
amused.
such an understatement.
Yeah, I know.
I
I will
think
use
one
an
of my
example from.
personal favorites.
Mhm.
Sorry, just real quick.
Yeah.
I think one of my personal favorites for why is this happening is when they decide to start to cool. We're just gonna throw Bakuda in the jail in the cage. We're just gonna threaten her with literal hell supermax that you can never get out of because she lost her shit at Cornell and threatened to blow it up with a bomb. I want to be clear. Didn't actually blow it up with a bomb.
Yeah.
Didn't have a bomb to actually blow it up with.
Yeah.
Just said, I'm going to blow you all up. Like, of all the people that, if nothing else, Cauldron
Yeah.
should have been trying to recruit.
Yeah, they really dropped the ball on that one.
Like you have Director Piggott.
Honestly, sorry.
I need heroes.
Yeah.
I need heroes so bad. Shadowstalker's a terrible human being, but I'll put up with Shadowstalker. I know she's a psychopath, and we have to watch her closely. I won't watch her closely at all, but I really need heroes.
Yeah.
But the bomb maker.
Yep.
Who hasn't killed anyone? Who didn't put crossbow bolts through people's knees, and you're not gonna argue for that one to get out?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not only that. It's also it's the Wild Bow's main problem when it comes to stuff like that is A, consistency, but also B, this is a wider problem with a lot of stories is where they try to have this like, oh, you know, the real big bads are this like secret organization of super rich, super knowledgeable, super peoples who want to control the world somehow. Yet they totally overlooked this one thing they could have easily found out about because they control all the institutions involved. And now they lost. It's like, what?
Sure.
Government incompetence, the story.
Yeah, it's like,
Here's
literally
the
national
problem with that
news.
sign. You cannot have the super secret, uber clever cabal that has successfully taken over the globe, or in this case, the entirety of the United States,
Yeah.
but couldn't think far enough ahead to go, gee, the bomb tinker could be fucking handy.
Not even think far enough ahead. They literally had an I win button as a power. And for some reason, that wasn't considered a possible victory vector?
No, clearly they were thinking about how to add more people to the list of NSF casualties.
Pretty much. Anyway, so I'll use an example from my story on Dying Scarab.
I wish I was.
I would say our story, but Gray isn't here. There was a section that I wrote when Taylor, who is currently auspiciously under the mind control effects of, the Scourge, the bad guys, the Ultra Zombie Army, for anyone not aware, filled with really bad people who want to kill all life on the planet. She is told, in the middle of the enemy HQ, surrounded by tens of thousands of enemies, that she has to go exterminate this village, not with fodder. No. She has to go exterminate this village with an entire battalion of Death Knights, and backed by platoons of normal, hyper-competent zombie troops. She doesn't have a chance to be like, no, I won't do it, I'll fight you all, and win, because the best she could cast was a single death bolt at a time every few seconds. She wasn't going to win.
But she's Queen Administrator. She has to win.
Yeah, well, we made her play the long game, and she won anyway. But
But she's the protagonist. She has to win now.
yeah, well, she's also a worm protagonist, so she has to win 12 books from now.
She's a worm protagonist. She can't win until she's been.
She can't win until
either
she's lost more.
horribly maimed, demoralized, sexually assaulted, or turned into a victim.
Or killed some children.
You should have just stopped at win. She can't win.
Yes. So anyway, she gets to the village. She's reluctant to help out, but she's like, okay, you know, it's just a village of soldiers. You know, we can totally, I can handle this. You know, I'll just show off my prowess, and hopefully they'll make me not do this anymore. So she does. She's fighting, and then it turns out actually it's a full village of not just military, just a full village of women and children too. And she comes across a tent filled with children.
Does he hate them?
What?
He's making a Star Wars joke.
Anyway, so she comes across a tent full of children. And she knows that she has to kill these children. Not because she was ordered to, but because the Death Knights, who are, like, the worst people in existence. Like, Death Knights will see these children and then will play games with them, like tying their limbs to one horse each and then driving them in 4 different directions. And then resurrecting that child and making it eat another child alive.
Yeah.
Like,
Are they siblings? Cool. Which one of you wants to eat the other?
right. Like, they will just do the most fucked up shit to them possible because they just like causing misery and pain.
Oh,
So there's that
I
one.
was gonna
It's
say,
like
yeah,
that one
also-
faction in Tyranny.
Yeah,
Yes.
don't forget the ever popular, hey, kiddo, your parents are alive. Kill them and make the child suffer as the parent eats them, or the much more popular, just slit the child's throat, raise
Right.
them as a zombie,
Yep.
and lock them in the same room as mommy and daddy.
Yeah, stuff like that. Like, so, like, whatever she does to these kids is going to be infinitely better than what the Death Knights would do to these kids if she didn't kill them now.
Especially because once they're dead, this is actually one of the weirdly nice things about the undead in World of Warcraft. Barring special circumstances, 98% of the undead aren't souls. They are not the soul trapped in the body.
Actually, sort of semi-ish. It really depends on a
Okay,
lot.
Yes, no, maybe, but they're never gonna be the ones. 98% of the undead are never gonna be aware enough.
Oh yeah, no. What I was saying is more like it's less the souls trapped in the body and more its soul energy harvested from all of the souls being used to animate the bodies. But there's also, you can also take that same procedure and use a soul to animate a body where they're specifically forever trapped behind a body being animated by magic that's controlling them, and they're never able to break out of it, and so they're forever tortured by all of this. And that was not frequent enough, so you might not be wrong about saying 98%, but certain necromancers were sadistic and were known to do that to you.
Of course, certain necromancers would, but the Death Knights are not They are not that skilled. They
No,
do
they're
know
not.
about it, but
Yeah,
they aren't that skilled.
they just resurrected the whole army into an army of zombies and skeletons and then called it a day. They didn't try
anyway,
to.
Point being,
Yeah.
the ones that attack Taylor, that the children that Taylor kill, will just be raised as extraordinarily small zombies. Not cool. I'm going to go out of my way to individually raise each of these child and leave them trapped in a flesh prison suffering for eternity.
Wahaha, I'm evil. Yeah. Death Knights were literally comically evil. And so Taylor, also wanting to minimize as much suffering as possible, realizes the connection between the moon and purity and cleansing and yada yada, and uses a bunch of moon fire to kill the people she's killing, which looks really, really cool to all the Death Knights, and so they're like, oh, that's awesome, you're really powerful and strong, and you zapped that guy out of existence, haha, it's so funny. And they're also not skilled enough to realize that Taylor just purified their soul and let them go into the afterlife freely, and prevented the grasping decay of necromancy from trapping their soul and using it as a power pump.
Yeah.
And so she does that to the kid. She calls down this giant moonfire beam and like vaporizes the kids in a second. They don't even feel pain. They just die instantly. It leaves a crater in the ground. And the Death Knight's like, oh yeah, you go, keep killing, haha, this is so fun. And everyone moves on. No one suspects Taylor of doing anything besides killing more people. The kids get to not be turned into zombie husks. And all that hunky-dory and shit, right?
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong.
Because it didn't blow her cover, and it let the kids die in the most painless manner possible, circumstances pending.
So she mercy killed him.
Yeah, she mercy killed him.
Which is kind of a Taylor thing.
And this was actually a big part as well in her storyline, because she realized after killing the kids that she didn't actually feel bad about killing the kids. And she realized there was something wrong with her. Because the mind control this entire time, every single time she tried to think about the mind control, she suddenly gets distracted and starts thinking about things that aren't the mind control. But this event made her go, oh, this is bad. I should feel bad. Why don't I feel bad? And that made her realize that there was something wrong with her. So, it was all very important in terms of narrative, in terms of giving a lot of information to the reader that isn't directly said, and a lot of it's implied, and a lot of it only made sense way later. As I wanted it to be, because I wrote it that way because I wanted it to be like that. Because I got the satisfaction of way later on, we had people posting once I did some revelations and stuff. And I say I here because I wrote those sections. We had a bunch of people posting, being like, "Oh my god, in chapter 3 you said this, and oh my god, it's all coming together." That's the kind of reaction I was going for with some of that stuff, and I got it. And I'm really happy about that. But we had a lot of commenters. I say a lot, it was a couple. It was a good 10 or so maybe. Who were doing really stupid suggestions of oh, Taylor should have smuggled the kids out. Or,
Bro, how you smuggling 100 children out? Are you... I almost said some things that I shouldn't say.
Yeah.
Regardless of that fact,
yeah, well, one guy was like, she should have dug a hole, buried the kids alive in the hole, and then come back 8 hours later when the army left to get them all out of the hole.
Okay, first of all, how are you keeping 100 children quiet? Second of all, the amount of hole you need to dig to put 100 children in the earth and not have them suffocate from oxygen deprivation in 8 hours?
Yep.
Bro actually suggested a mass grave of the children
Yes.
while they were still alive.
Yes. Yep. Unironically.
Don't worry. The ones that survive will be badasses.
They'll be even stronger. They absorb the
They
ambient
probably
XP.
would be, but they'd have to. I don't think there are going to be any survivors.
No, here's the thing. Can you imagine the origin story? Good lord, that is some berserk shit. They buried 100 children alive and came back 8 hours later to find which child had managed to claw their way up through the 99 other children and dig themselves out of the fucking dirt.
Yeah,
that is berserk.
It is berserk. But it was just what? It's hey, Taylor's leading this army. She can't just ditch them to come back. She's...
Alright, you guys marked on the objective. I'm getting a smoothie for 8 hours.
I gotta go grab a smoothie back at the encampment that we just left and pillaged. I forgot I left the gas on. Yes.
No, boss, you told us to leave the gas on, so the whole thing exploded with the children parts.
Yeah, it's just what?
Wasn't there
Wow.
also like wasn't there like also a super high level or high rank Death Knight among there? I could have sworn there was someone named,
Oh
or
yes,
is that just a
the right and left hand of Arthas were there.
yeah? So that also made it
Because
worse for her.
it's a loyalty mission.
Yeah.
By the way, you know what? I think it'd be really great if in the next Mass Effect we can be an evil shepherd and the loyalty mission isn't I will help you and do something nice for you so that you like me, but rather I will force you to commit atrocities so that you have no choice but to continue complying with my orders.
Kill the child, Jacob. Karis already shot a civilian. I did what? You told me they were a child smuggler.
Well, I might have mixed up my word order there.
Oh god. But anyway, yeah,
also,
no.
let's
Yeah.
be honest. No, it wouldn't have been Jacob shoot the child. It would have been, come on, Jacob, your dad's got a real good thing going here.
But anyway, point being is that I had
Just
some
to be
really
clear, I
dumb
am not George
commenters.
Jacob's father, and I shoot that man every single
Oh,
time.
of course, obviously. We got some over the that was like the most egregious commenters, except for that one guy who posted every single chapter that he wanted an orc genocide to occur. Like that was like the most egregious, like dumbest commenter stuff possible.
I genuinely do not get those people who are like, yeah, kill. I'm like, the orcs are, and the Emperor preserve my soul for saying this, but it's another dimension, so get off my ass. The orcs are some of the most sympathetic individuals in the entire Warcraft universe.
Yeah, pretty much.
The boss agrees. You may go ahead.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, they get lied to by their spiritual leaders, turned into half demons, get filled with this unnatural bloodlust that they can only sate by slaughtering other sentients, get forced by the millions to do a mass migration to this portal, and every single time someone dies, they're fed to you, and their soul is used to power their equipment. And then you get to this giant portal, and you're told to go rape and pillage this other world filled with things that you don't know. And you do, and then you lose. And what happens after you lose? You don't get genocided. You get put into work camps, which, you know...
Not great, but you know what? You're alive.
Not great, but we're working with medieval tech here.
Here's the thing. For the orc camps, like... They're really weird. The orc work camps were, like, 2 steps down from what we did... From what the U.S. government did to, the Japanese Americans in the internment camps, which was horrible and shitty, but generally didn't murder them.
Well, I mean, it was very generous, all things considered, because they were literally extra-dimensional invaders under the control of a demon.
Yeah.
Who
Like, don't get me
openly
wrong,
raped,
the orcs didn't
slaughtered,
get
and
genocided,
pillaged.
which is great, but, you know, still really bad conditions.
Yeah, you know, all things considered, very generous. And I mean, at the work camps, they didn't work them to death. They actually gave them actual work and fed them. I mean, not great. And they kind of all slept in giant pools of not even tents, but like sticks with, you know, some cloth attached to it, maybe. So I mean, again, the conditions weren't great. But what they weren't is being genocided in return for the genocide they were inflicting upon the humans earlier. So, they get out of the work camps, the humans still want to kill them. So they flee the humans follow them. Then their old demon buddies come back. Oh, it turns out a lot of the orcs were still sympathetic to that, and they turn traitor. Great.
Yeah, it turns out some of the orcs were like, hey, this demon thing is pretty swell. I like murdering and pillaging.
Yeah. So, you know, overall, pretty shitty history. Got fucked over by effectively everyone, including themselves. multiple times. Pretty bad history. Don't really deserve genocide. There's a couple races on Azeroth that do.
Night Elves being chief among them.
The Trolls.
Oof. Excuse you, did you say the Night Elves?
Yes.
Yes.
Why?
So,
The Naga.
if you learn about the history of the Night Elves, literally 99% of the problems that happen on Azeroth are because of the Night Elves.
By the way,
Oh,
okay,
really?
Yeah.
okay, let me frame this for you. You know how racist and ashholeless most of the Night Elves are?
Yeah.
That's
Those are the
them
good
calming down.
ones.
Yeah, that's them calming down.
Okay? I need to be real clear here. Those are the good ones, because the ones who got a little out of hand, and by the way, a little out of hand was, oops, we've killed 98% of the sentient populations on Azeroth that aren't blue elves, including elves that don't want to be blue.
Yeah.
One of them finally went, guys, this is too far. You gotta stop. I'm gonna turn you into fish people and banish you under the sea. You can come back in 10,000 years.
No, that's not what happened. Okay.
I apologize.
Yep. So the lore is that Queen Ashara is incredibly egotistical, incredibly smart. So the problem with Ashara was, while her ego was literally the size of a planet, her ability nearly matched it. She was, bar none, the strongest mage to have ever lived. Period.
Fucking Kael'thas.
And Ashara wanted more power. So she went to the giant hole filled with god blood and decided she was going to turn the hole filled with god blood into a summoning portal for the demons who promised to give her more power. So she did that. And the demons were like, psych, bitch, here's your power. We're gonna nuke your world now. And, she got her shit rocked. Mostly because the demons, as they were losing, exploded the portal, causing Azeroth to fracture into all of the continents.
I seem to recall that wherever she was, that city got swept under by a tsunami or some shit, and then a great old one tentacled her.
Yes, a great old one came before her. So you gotta keep in mind again. This
Shit, I'm
is-
sorry, that's right.
this
I
is
forgot about all the
Ashara.
great old one shit.
Yeah, this is
I forgot about all the
Ashara
great
at
old
peak. So her entire fucking civilization gets swept under the waves as the continents are violently ripped apart from each other. And the great old one comes before her and is like, hey, I know you want to live, and I know you want power. I will save not only you, I will save your people. And I will even give you power on top of that. And all you have to do is be my bitch. And Ashara,
I mean, listen, that was the thing Ashara always really wanted deep down anyway, so...
Ashara goes, I don't know about this deal. I think you need me more than I need you. And the old one's like, your entire people and you are literally going to die if you don't take this deal. And she's like, I don't think I will take this deal. Not unless you give me even more power. And also, I won't be your bitch. We're going to be partners. And the old one's like, fuck. She called my bluff. Okay, fine. I'm going to save all your people. I'm going to give you a shit ton of power, and we'll be partners. Deal. Okay. Also, lol, by the way, you're all fish people now and can't live on land. Ha 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 ha.
Lol, said the ancient one. Lamau.
Lamau.
And yeah, that's what happened with Ashara and why she turned all of her people into fish people. So the three surviving factions with Legion, and I actually kind of liked Legion, and it did a nice little, old lore filling instead of old lore replacing. So I'll consider that canon enough. 3 factions of Night Elves survived all this. The High Court of Ashara, that lived on the small section of land that didn't get sunken into the sea. The High Elves, who thought they were the only ones living after everything's said and done, and they were basically the lower class nobles who got high on mana instead of getting high on god blood. And Illidan showed up at one point and was like, hey, High Elves, hi, we're the Night Elves now, we worship the moon and darkness and stuff. I'm gonna make a new well for you guys. So you can stop eating all the mana. Here's some god blood, I'm gonna pour this into the well, and now you guys can all have this well now, so you can stop eating everything that lives. Calm down, please. So the High Elves ate the god blood again and stopped being psychopathic. And then later on that fucks up again, but that's not part of the story. And then there was the Night Elves, who, at the peak of Ashara's fuckery, were like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be eating god blood. Which is why we're going to take 8 vials of god blood with us and run away to a far, far away part of the continent. And then when it exploded, that area became an island, and they made a world tree over that, and that was the Tree of Eternity, or whatever it's called. Yggdrasil, or I think that's what they called it, yeah. Teldrassil, yeah. And then they made Yggdrasil, whatever the fuck it was, their capital. Even farther away, after Teldrassil got attacked, and the Night Elves were like, oh yeah, we love nature and stuff, and we are actually going to be extremely racist towards mages, and we're going to create an all-women corps of mage killers, because we hate mages so much, because mages were clearly the problem here, and not us, the elves, who broke the world.
Yes.
And so then all the men were like, hey, since we're so in tune with nature now, we're going to go hibernate for 10,000 years. Bye. And all the women became lesbians.
Oh, no.
I wish I was joking, but that's pretty much the actual reason as to why basically there's no men in positions of power, why they all run around wearing super skimpy armor, and why all of the military is made up of women. It's because nearly all of the men were either slaughtered for being mages or became druids and went to sleep for literally tens of thousands of years.
It's also why they keep sleeping with humans.
Yes, but not too many kids come out of that.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, for some reason, only High Elves could have kids with humans, really?
Who are now the Blood Elves for some reason?
Yeah, they're the Blood Elves because they started eating demon juice instead of god juice. Because the demons created an undead army, and one of those necromancers was an urn of ash and told the best Death Knight to exist ever that he needs to go to the Sunwell and pour his ashes into the Sunwell because a totally cool thing will happen. And that totally cool thing was he comes back as a lich. Without ever having to prepare for it. And he's like, eschew components, bitches!
Fuck you, that's such a dumb joke.
Such a small section of people are gonna get it, too.
Fuck you. I hate it. I hate it so much.
What's that sign?
You are the components.
Yeah, he skipped a couple steps to lichdom.
Impossible. How did you get all of this power without the components? Bitch, I am the components.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so he used the God Blood pool, and turns out when a super evil person uses the God Blood pool to ascend to lichdom with a bunch of evil corrupting magic, and then turns around and uses it as a portal to bring more demons into the world, it makes the God Blood pool not very good to eat anymore. And so
not happy.
they went back to eating mana again, and there was a distinct lack of mana from all the mana they ate last time. And so they all started starving. Because elves can't be normal. It's impossible for elves to be normal in Warcraft. They all have some hyper quirky quirk that makes you want to punch them all. And the high elves' quirky quirk was that they would literally suck things to death, removing all of the mana and energy from the soul.
To be fair, most elves in the setting that inspired Warcraft were also fucked up.
Yes. And so Prince Cathalos comes up with this awesome idea that they should just eat demons, because demons were just walking bags of magic. This had the completely surprising side effect of turning the High Elves evil. And if they ate too much demon juice too quickly, instead of first turning the demon juice into mana crystals through a purification process, then they became the wretched, who became these golem-like elves who had an unending hunger for more demon juice.
Oh no.
And they would do literally anything for more demon juice, including summoning more demons. So yeah, they caused a lot of the problems that happened. Like, pretty much all of them. Like, Deathwing was pretty much the only problem the elves didn't cause.
Which is why everyone was happy when the fucking tree got burned down.
Yeah. There's a lot of good memes on that one. But they're building a new tree out of death seeds because it got blessed by their god of the moon, and it's now no longer a death tree, it's a life cycle tree of life cycles.
Yes, there's no way this could possibly go horribly, horribly wrong.
And they're gonna plant it in the Emerald Dream, the pure realm. The pure realm, where the sleeping god creature inside of Azeroth has its imagination of the least sentient version of Azeroth effectively in it. So basically, the Emerald Dream is a what-if question of what if things that figured out how to bang rocks together to get fired didn't exist.
I thought it was all one big dream by one big fucking green dragon.
No, she guards the dream. Yeah. And then she got stabbed and absolutely ganked by a generic satyr bro with a giant crystal, which he used like a railgun. Kind of funny. Which again, by the way, satyrs also elves, so they're also behind that one.
Because of course.
Yeah. Anyway.
Wait, does that mean the half deer chicks are also elves?
No, those are dryads. They get born out of trees.
Okay.
Yep. Don't ask.
Fucking hate elves.
Well, I'm aware of what a dryad is mythologically, but why does it look like a half deer, half elf instead of, a fucking tree?
I
Beca-
fucking hate elves so
beca-
goddamn much.
Because a druid fucked a tree.
Oh, of course, makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
am God's strongest elf hater.
But we've done a very good job so far of not reading any Ruby stories, and I'm gonna have to unfortunately break that streak.
Oh no.
On one hand, I don't have to listen about elves anymore. On the other hand, this.
So it's a new core story, everyone.
For what?
Ruby.
Ah, yes, this is the sound of everyone being completely surprised at the same time.
Yes. The second torch. Roman was a washed-up has-been reduced from gentleman thief to glorified thug joke. Well, no more. Roman was going to reclaim his glory and teach everyone that this old dog has what it takes to be the best, or die trying. Poor Neo just wishes her adoptive father would pick a safer midlife crisis. Which, by the way, I hate that book. I hate that book so much. They could have
What
done...
book?
So, there was a book they released for Rooster Teeth to explain Neo's backstory, and they could have done so many cool things with that book. And you know what they did instead with that book? They made Neo a jumped-up rich girl Cinderella story, which they also used for frickin' Cinderella. That's her name. That's Cinder. Cinder's full name is Cinderella.
Yeah.
They gave her this, like...
Yeah.
generic white girl, I'm so oppressed backstory, and she started doing crime because it was fun and different, and Roman wasn't like the other guys.
Yeah, I
I've
read that. book.
Never
It
been so
wasn't
annoyed in my life, actually.
great. It
Neo
It
is
was a
such,
waste
could have
And-
been such an
because-
interesting character.
And you know
There's the-
what her
the
real
entire
name
fandom.
is?
Oh no.
don't even remember. Actually, I
Her
erased
real
it as
name
soon as
is
it came out.
Vanilla.
I hate you.
Right.
What?
right.
Yeah,
You heard correctly.
No.
yeah. I was reading an Elon School webcomic and it hit me. It'd be very funny to see one of those troubled teen schools in a world like Worm. Guaranteed triggers in a week? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just Neapolitan is a fake name because her real name is Vanilla. Get it, guys? Neapolitan is like 1/3 vanilla, 1/3 chocolate, 1/3 strawberry. She's like different now, but she's still referencing her original
Yeah.
name.
Really? Sounds more like she's 100% fucking vanilla to me. A vanilla fucking thing.
She's not a white girl anymore.
Yeah.
She's a quirked up white girl.
Stop.
Wasn't great.
Thy
It's a shame
punishment
too.
is death.
Like the fandom had already decided like she was definitely picked up out of the gutter and adopted as a daughter figure, and that worked so much better as a dynamic
Yeah.
than what.
Well, yes, because it helped explain
we
her
went with-
rabid
Oh yeah,
loyalty
by
to
the way,
Roman.
how they met was Roman broke into her house to steal shit from her.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I'm just gonna completely disregard this.
And she was like, "Oh my god, he's so dreamy. He's doing exciting things like breaking the
I think
law."
there was a. I think there was a thing about her having an imaginary friend as well that was like the repressed part of her
Her
personality. or
her
something.
imaginary friend was Neapolitan. Who
Yeah.
was everything Vanilla wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Interesting. I declare cringe.
Oh yeah, and the author also declared that Neo was treated like a faunus because she had heterochromia.
Are you
You know,
fucking
something-
kidding me?
No.
Unfortunately, I
Oh
don't.
yeah,
think
that
he
was
is.
the thing. Mom and dad hid her away from the public. At like people knew they had a daughter, but she wasn't really allowed out in public because, for some reason, heterochromia is something to be ashamed of.
That's so fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Bruh, this is the Ruby universe. Heterochromia is like actually a guaranteed scholarship.
Yeah, it's like peak Huntress material.
Exactly.
This woman has heterochromia. Why are you being so like?
So
rude to her?
anyway, yeah, her semblance. I forget if Roman, activated her aura, or she just was so traumatized by being jailed in her room all day that she activated it herself.
I mean,
Roman
to be
doesn't
fair,
have-
hang on. If she was legitimately
Okay,
wait, kept
sorry.
locked
Yeah,
away in her
Go,
room all
go
day.
ahead.
I know the answer. I know.
Yeah.
I know the source. According to them, like in an interview, like they were doing this on Reddit. Neo had to train to unlock her aura. You could initially that they retconned it at the time that you have to physically spend time training to unlock your aura and semblance.
Oh, of course. So wait, did Roman
then
give her
when-
the training, or did she do it on her own?
Yes. Roman, I think, trained her.
Oh yeah, between all the times he broke into their house
Yeah.
to
And then
kidnap their daughter.
And then someone proceeded to ask, well, how could John unlock his aura so fast? And they said he was special.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean, he
totally
is.
special. He has the
Well,
greatest.
that was just kind of the point that they asked, like, well, why did John get his aura unlocked so easily, but Neo had to work for it? Like, why couldn't Roman undo it?
See, here's the
And that
thing.
was
He
kind of
has
just a
the greatest
half-ass
weapon ever known to the Ultramarines.
Arthur?
It's called plot armor.
Yeah.
Sure.
Anyway, yeah. So then Neo gets her semblance unlocked, and her semblance gives her the power. I'm muting myself. Back to the podcast.
Sneaky.
I
yes.
kept that off. I kept that off air. But I'm
But
not
you
wrong.
did.
Wasn't
Oh
wrong.
boy, folks, it's a good thing he didn't say that on air. We would have lost all 4 of our viewers.
Yes.
Yeah.
I kept that off air for a good reason. So anyway, she unlocks her semblance, which is supposed to be the most pure representation of her soul. And the most pure representation of her soul is the ability to make her delusions reality. Which, I mean, that's
Is that
questionable.
why Roman loves her?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like
come
Rooster
on, that joke writes itself, man.
I know. It's just I don't know. Rooster Teeth kind of
Doesn't know what they're doing.
Saying some things.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, you know what I really hated? I hated the fact that Roman's semblance isn't a short range teleport.
What the fuck is Roman's semblance anyway?
I have no idea, or tell us later. I always like to canonize that the reason why, yeah, overactive imagination, yeah, whatever. My canon for this is that basically Neo could create like this glass pane showing people that looked at it what she wanted them to see. And Roman's power was short-range teleportation with others. And so she would create a glass pane, making it look like they were still there, and Roman would teleport them out. Because that was the best explanation we had for several parts of the story. And then they're like,
No.
She can just teleport with her glass, because...
Because thinking is hard.
Because they said so.
Anyway. Oh, Roman hasn't unlocked his semblance yet. Ah, of course.
But he has aura, but he never actually displays the use of aura in anything.
Yeah, not only does he not display any use of aura, he actually climbs up the ladder in the first episode.
Yeah, he could have jumped it if he had aura.
Yeah, like everyone else did. So, yeah, as far as we know, Roman doesn't have aura.
Yeah, he's just a normie with a cane that shoots dust.
Which actually, honestly, makes it even cooler when he fights the hunters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of the point. It's like, oh yeah, he's normal, but he's still fighting. He's a threat.
He's a
But
badass
apparently the
normal.
author thought, no.
Yeah. Yeah. The authors, who we all know are terrible and don't know how to write, decided to be terrible and not know how to write, shocking everyone with this decision.
Interesting fact.
Anyway, so I'm also generally, I'm sort of okay with Orphan Neo getting picked up by Roman, but honestly, what I would have preferred more is hardened street criminal Neo gets picked up by Roman. Or just generally any sort of relationship that didn't imply that Roman picked up like a 12-year-old girl and turned her into a murdering assassin for him. Because
Like,
it's implied several times that Neo just straight up ganks people because she can.
like, and this is one of the problems with Rooster Teeth. They're like, yeah. We're gonna tell progressive stories, but then they tell stories and they like don't think about what the fuck they're writing.
Yeah, and then they do that several times throughout Ruby, where they declare they're gonna try and push a message, and then what you actually take from what they wrote is pretty much the opposite of the message they were trying to push, and it's kind of like, ooh, that's a
Like,
bad look
guys,
for literally
guys,
everyone.
We need to be progressive and have strong, independent female characters. Great, those are good things. Put more of those in the story.
Yep.
When they're well written, those are great.
Yep.
I approve of this.
Yep.
Guys, we need to make Neo special. How are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna have her be a super rich white girl. Okay. And she's gonna decide to go work for the man who breaks into her house.
And then grooms her into murdering people for fun.
We wanted to empower her?
Makes sense. Ship it.
Yeah. Also, he's like a father figure to her. And romantic?
Yes.
It's like, please just stop talking, Rooster Teeth.
I
Please.
keep saying Archie's doing this on purpose.
Yeah, I know what you've been saying. I know. But yeah, so that's that story. It's a humor adventure story. I am not sure what part of that summary is supposed to tell me this is going to be humorous. Is this going to be like one of those like midlife crisis written by a millennial, oh haha super funny hangover stories?
Probably.
Cuz we need more of those. Totally need more of those. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. We have Going Digital, a Digimon Ruby crossover in the Ruby section.
What?
Yep. They were supposed to be sent home away from the Ever After, but Team Ruby and John find themselves in a digital world. Stripped of their powers and weapons, they will have to rely on the power of friendship that they forge with the inhabitants of the alien world to find their way back to Remnant and change the fate of both worlds.
No. The aura is an expression of a soul. You cannot strip their aura from them without literally killing them.
Yes.
Therefore, they could pick up any stick off the ground and, oh, hey, look, I've got a
We
weapon.
in season 4 here, bitch!
And I'm sorry, what is this supposed to be crossing over with, Sneaky?
Digimon season 4.
Really, of all the Digimon seasons, you pick 4.
Which one was 4 again?
No, there's nothing wrong with it. I'm trying to say, you're trying to tell me that digital souls aren't real. In season 4 of Digimon? The one with all the dead fucking children?
Yes.
Dead. Should. Okay.
Yeah, so basically the big surprise of Digimon Adventures was that actually all of the main characters were dead children who were trapped in the digital world as digital ghosts. And the reason why no one could see them when they went back to the real world is because they were ghosts.
Wait, no, hold on. You mean Ty and the others?
No. Digimon Adventures. New cast. Not season 2.
Is that the one with Renamon?
No, that's season 1.
No, Renamon. The furry fox thing.
That's season 1.
You know how little that fucking narrows it down?
That is not season 1. It's the one with the card game.
That's season 3?
No, season 1 and
Season 1 and 2 were sequels to each other.
well, yes, 1 and 2 are sequels, but I think they all.
No, different cast.
Yeah, okay. Season 2 only had Hikari and TK, but it had the others. Then there was the one with the card game that came after that with Renamon, the yellow.
Yes,
fox
yes, we all know.
fairy.
Yes, the one you make porn of.
Yes, and then
Fuck.
no, I just messing with him.
He just enjoys it.
Anyway, so then who the hell was season 4?
Digimon Adventures, where a bunch of no-name kids that never come up again, ever again in the story anywhere, get killed, end up in the digital world, confused with other Digimon to gain powers of that Digimon, and then they find out they're dead and the story's over.
That sounds so dumb.
Yes.
Yes.
It was well executed,
Nasty.
but yeah, that was all there was.
Like, just dumb and depressing, and why would you show this to kids?
That was my question when I went back and like was like, wait a second, 12 years later, I was like, wait, hold up, that's kind of fucked up. Let's see.
Digimon Frontier.
Yeah, Frontier, that's what it is. My bad.
I feel like Digimon was just trying to like
Do something
one
new.
up Pokemon.
Yeah. I mean, they usually
No
are. Yeah.
shit.
They're made by the same company.
Another what?
Yeah.
Regardless of whether or not they're made by the same company, yes, one was absolutely trying to outdo the other.
Both of them were trying to outdo each other.
Yes. Let's see here. We got a young man dies too soon, and he is given the option of getting the mystery box or going to hell. Man, these two Na'vi
Sorry,
are not
hang on a
playing
minute.
today.
Getting a mystery box or going to hell?
Yeah.
Mystery box, please.
Yeah. It's like,
You can either go to hell or go to heaven, or you can have what's in the box.
What's in the box?
yeah, I don't know about that.
How much is the box worth?
Yeah, I mean, it's just like,
So,
go to hell and
options are-
suffer.
Hell or a gotcha?
Yeah.
Can I take hell?
The box can also be hell.
Yeah, basically.
Of course, the box can also be hell. It wouldn't be a gotcha if it weren't.
The box is either hell or it is heaven. Or alternatively, it's Starfield from Todd Howard.
Oh, it's a little bit. Oh, so it's hell.
Let's see what we got here. We got Tablet of Fate. Oh, sorry, Tablet of Fate.
Yeah, hang on. Tabled of Fate. I'm like, hang on a minute. This is sounding distinctly Zinchian.
Yeah.
You see, you know what?
I
Zinch
cast
tricking
Tabled of Fate.
Zinch tricking Yu-Gi-Oh into playing 40k. You see, Yugi boy, I have advance in charge on my entire army.
We're gonna have a shadow duel. Yu-Gi-Oh!
You fool, Yugi! You fallen for the. What is that Lehman Russ doing there?
I didn't see this coming.
Wait a minute.
Greed.
Wait a minute. What do you mean your Baneblade has Scout 12?
Why were you hiding that Titan?
What do you mean the Titan has Jink?
Tablets
Now,
of
there's a
Fate.
cold cut.
John Ark is truly lost with the Ark family massacred by the White Fang. Wait, what?
You what, mate?
Why?
His anger has reached new heights. Well, I mean, considering the highest of his anger was probably gamer rage as a 4-year-old, can't be really hard. And wanted blood for the crimes until he had met someone who would quell his anger. He would then, in turn, protect the village she lived in and was a hero and protector and was super awesome and crazy good. And now he is also armed with cards containing the souls of heroic servants.
Shut the
What?
fuck up.
God damn it.
Again, we are not in the crossover section.
Okay, look. First
I
of all,
am
I want to
enjoying
point
the
out
crossover section. I am in intense agony. And I am lying.
okay. Look, the people using cards of heroic spirits in the Fate universe. I like that mechanic because in the Fate universe, it's actually risky.
Yeah. Of course, a self-insert woman is going to be John's waifu.
Of course.
Anyway,
Was there ever a doubt?
go ahead, Ed.
Right? You have to actually right. If you use like Robin Hood, you don't have to worry about Robin Hood trying to take over your body and turn you into the card. I know that's not what actually happens, but like, you don't have to worry about Robin Hood soul jacking.
You're
right?
going into the card, Yugi boy. You shall become
yeah,
one with the
exactly.
heart of the cards.
Let's see you draw yourself out of this, Yugi boy.
You know what? That's an actual straight Pegasus line.
What?
Let's see you draw yourself out of this.
Oh yeah, no, especially because it's a pun that works on 3 levels.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
How
actually
do you
really,
have that card? You
I'm
just used it.
actually really proud of that one. But anyway, right, like you use a garbage tier spirit, you'll get garbage tier power, but you don't have to worry about being soul jacked.
Yeah.
If you decide, if you rock up to King Arthur and be like, I'm gonna use your card, well, guess what? King Arthur might use your body.
Well, probably not, actually. King Arthur's probably going to be
Okay,
pretty...
not Arthur,
It's
but like
Artoria.
Artoria.
even
yes.
Arthur.
Okay, but the vast majority of heroic spirits.
Yeah, well, the vast majority of heroes are not exactly as... Yeah.
Like, even if you're not taking, like, anti-heroes, like Mordred, right? Like, King Arthur? Like, summoning Artoria as a king?
Well, even then, like, Beowulf is a better example.
No, but, like, even, Lancer Arthur, I mean. The one
yeah.
No, even she has Noblesse Oblige. Like, you're using the
she has
wrong
Noblesse
person.
Oblige, but she might be like, yeah, you can use my power, but in return I get to use your body for X amount of time.
No.
Okay.
Yeah? Quiet, sign. We know what you want.
No, she wouldn't.
Yes.
Oh, wait, hang on. Sorry, I'm a bit late because of dealing with customers. What do you exactly talk about? Like the class cards and using them?
Yeah, class cards
the
and
class
using
cards
them, yeah.
and how different heroic spirits they come with the risk of different heroic spirits turning you into a
Again,
meat
that sounds more like Mordred than it sounds like Lancer Arturia.
From my understanding of the class cards, it's not them possessing you, but more or less their ego overtaking you. Like
Yeah.
you'll start acting like that character more so than being that more so than them possessing you. Like
Okay, so
using
less
guilt-
active possession, more you're becoming
If you-
Gilgamesh, and that's not a good thing.
Yes.
You start channeling them.
no. If you say you use Artoria, you'll act like her. Her personality and ego will basically overtake yours, and you'll act like her. But it's not like she's driving you completely.
Based.
Gil's
Shut the
ego,
fuck up, sign.
And no, based on what we see with Gilgamesh's card, they had to forcibly separate the ego because he would just straight up possess them and ruin everything.
his ego was so
Because-
massive that even after being watered down, like all the class cards in Prisma are watered down personality-wise, so you can use them safely. His card was watered down, and the ego still overtakes you.
Yeah, that's jail.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious.
That's the first king for you. But anyway.
But yeah, sure. Beowulf, Kukulin,
Yeah.
Diarmid.
Choo choo train.
Beowulf is not I would not want to mess with that dude's card.
Yeah. No.
His ego would
No.
absolutely start interfering.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say. But anyway. I forgot the original point. All right. Anyway, moving on.
So did most people.
Anyway, point is, dangers of the class card system. There's a risk to using it in Fate. Everyone else conveniently just ignores that risk in their fan fiction because
Yeah.
oh wait, that might make things hard.
Or even worse, they might be motivated to do something that would change the plot.
Oh no.
Like, you know what? If you gave me a story where Taylor gets class cards and right, she starts using Gilgamesh because obviously I need to be powerful and I need to win things. So Gilgamesh is just the default choice for I win. And then you start having her start acting like Gilgamesh, and then at some point realizing that she's being influenced and going, oh, this isn't okay, and now you start having Taylor worrying about the cards and having identity crises, that could be good.
Yep.
That requires work.
Oh, I think it was called Splintered Mind. That one was actually a good story. It's literally what you were just talking about.
Splintered Mind?
Yeah. It's really dead, though. Like, it was dead back in 2018, dead.
That's unfortunate.
But basically, Taylor's power was the ability to copy the powers and memories of the person she touches if they have powers as well. And it's a sort of like a collective thing. So if she pokes Sophia and pokes Rune, she'll become like really aggressive and racist and egotistical. But if she then pokes
will she
like
become racist? Will she hate white people as much as she hates
No.
African Americans if she pokes
That
both?
was so
No,
confusing for her.
just don't. And then she like pokes Miss Militia and like I don't know, Battery, and then
Oh no!
it balances
Oh
out,
no.
air quotes. But what she
Oh,
finds
no.
out is that it doesn't really balance out, and what she thinks she's doing balancing out is really in reality is just crushing her own memories underneath everyone else's. Because you know, obviously someone with 20 more years of life than her has a lot more memories than her. And then you add another person's lifetime of memories and another person's lifetime of memories. And what she found out by like chapter 40 or whatever was that she didn't know what she liked anymore. She didn't know what her hobbies were anymore because she couldn't remember who she was before she became this gestalt mind, effectively.
So she's the butcher without the crazy.
Oh no, she was still pretty crazy because she kept getting in fights with a bunch of villains, which is what made her realize that it was a problem in the first place. Because she just thought she was getting proactive after copying Sophia, but she was really just kind of like letting Sophia drive her effectively. And you know, then she got in contact with even more villains, and she started getting crueler and blah blah blah. And then she touches Miss Militia, and she gets like basically a system shock of like, oh shit, I'm actually being massively influenced by all of these memories and personalities of these people. And then tries to basically balance herself out, but when she does balance herself out, air quotes, she then realizes that she doesn't actually remember being Taylor that much anymore. Because it's really hard to remember her, like, 12 years of life compared to the, like, 100 years of life she now has stacked inside. It was an interesting story. And then it died for a while, and I stopped reading it, and then it picked up again, and then it died for the last time. Yeah. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. We got Living the Dream by Rat Crime.
By
Okay.
who?
Rat
He
Crime.
performs rat crimes.
I thought you
Every-
said Rat Prime, and I was like, oh, that's an interesting name.
Every huntsman in the world has aura except John Ark. No. After barely passing initiation and being named the leader of the Misfit team, including an adult faunus partner, Renan Nora, and the former Fall Maiden,
What?
John is now trapped in his dream school with no aura and a dwindling chance of ever getting it. How would it be dwindling? Just have someone awaken.
Because he can't awaken his aura for whatever asinine reason.
It's stories like these that I'm just like, why did you think this was good? Again, obviously the author is trying for this like Marvel humor. Isn't this so wacky? Which again, the millennials. I'm sorry, millennials, but your humor sucks sometimes. This fucking Reddit has been the worst thing for millennials in terms of humor.
Reddit indeed has been the worst thing that happened to mankind.
Millennials are pretty awful anyway.
Yeah. And anyway, it's just these stories are just terrible. They are objectively terrible stories. They're not funny. There is zero like I have spent my entire budget of suspension of disbelief reading this summary, let alone whatever I'm going to encounter inside the story. Like an adult faunus. Okay, kind of weird that this is going to be the only adult ever applying to Beacon. Kind of weird they just shove Amber in there even though she's graduated and like 28 years old.
Also, you know, dead.
Well, she's not dead now, because wouldn't that be funnier?
Well, look,
Like-
it's okay because we like older women.
Like, legitimately a complete and utter brain dead vegetable that Osmond is keeping alive solely so that whatever her fucking name is doesn't slurp up the rest of the maiden powers.
Yeah, but
Okay,
but
no,
actually,
she's
but actually, Atin, have you ever considered if it would be funny?
Okay, but no, she's not entirely brain dead because she does wake up and experience pain and trauma as she dies. Yes, but she wasn't fully dead. She was just, I think, in suspended animation.
Oh, that's so much better, sign.
Yeah.
No,
Either way, it's like, okay, so how does John land? Anyone want to answer me that? How does John land?
landing strategy?
Yeah.
Oh, Pira has to save him.
Well, except for the fact that the thing that Pyrrha did would have not worked like that at all whatsoever, period. At all, period. End of story.
Rule of cool, it's fine.
Yeah, I know, rule of cool, it's fine. My point being is that Pyrrha is not the first person to see him now,
Yeah, but
which means she doesn't save him.
And so
Which
he's dead.
means that he
No, hold
splatters
on.
on the ground like a fucking
Hold on.
overripe
No.
bug.
she didn't save him because he was the first person she saw. She saved him and then ran up to him so she would be the first person he saw.
Yes, you are. You're not wrong. However, I find it incredibly unlikely that Pyrrha, who was close enough to throw a spear at him accurately and then accurately pin him to a tree accurately, would somehow land so far away that she wasn't the first one to land next to him.
Mm,
Unless you're telling me that she 360 no-scoped mid-air her spear like 500 feet.
that is literally what she does in the animation, Sneaky.
We actually don't know how far she threw the spear, and
You
consider
can estimate the range by the fucking...
The range is as short as I want it to be, and the container's as big as I want it to be.
No,
old lore quote, old lore quote.
No.
That was still the greatest thing I think Max ever did.
That was the dumbest fucking shit ever.
I want to be clear. Really fucking dumb. Greatest thing Max ever did. Was actually do math.
Yeah,
He cast
we
math
mathed hard.
at that motherfucker.
Yeah. So basically, way back in the day, there was this one guy who blatantly had Artorias and a bunch of other Dark Souls characters show up in Ruby, and he said it wasn't a crossover story because he gave the characters last names, and therefore they were
Wow.
OCs.
Oh god, I remember this story.
Yep.
Fuck, I
And
feel old.
he had Artorias fight Roman inside a bullhead with Artorias' sword, with Artorias being 8 feet tall.
But a bullhead is not
Yes.
that big.
Yes. Math
The
did the
bullhead is
max.
as big as I want it to be.
Math did the max. Max did the math. And we figured out the interior size of a bullhead estimate. And we came back to him
This
with
was
these
back
numbers.
before we had measurements. This was in
Yeah.
like season 2, season 3?
Yeah. And we came back with the measurements, and he was like, in response, like, the bullhead is as big as I want to be. Because he was having Artorias do full hand swings. Like, he wasn't doing, like, close range fighting with his great sword,
He
which was
wasn't
9
doing, like,
feet long.
stabs.
Yeah, he was doing full, overhand swings with his greatsword, which was, 8 feet being wielded 9 feet. And so, like, he was claiming the interior was like 20 feet.
There's a lot of berserk bullshit going on recently in these stories.
It's an old one. But yeah, he came back with the interior of the bullhead is as big as I want it to be.
I'm sorry, it doesn't work like that. I can visually estimate the size.
How do
Yeah.
you know what
Big
the
as I
size
want it
is?
to be.
I made it up.
What's your source? I made it up.
It was revealed to me in a dream. Still the funniest shit.
Yeah, it's just, I'd say, look, say John Lance. Say Ozpin finds it funny that he let John in without aura. Say he finds it funny to make John a team leader. Right? What's stopping John from getting aura? And what could possibly be causing his chances of getting aura to go down the longer he trains? Like, what?
Oh, his aura is so big that the more he trains, the bigger it gets, and the bigger it gets, the harder it'll be to pull it up.
Why are we talking about his dick?
I'm talking about his aura.
I know. I was making a joke about the author's self-insert.
I know.
Good night, everybody.
I worded it that way for a reason.
I do appreciate that Nose said goodnight, everybody, at exactly 9 o'clock.
Truly skilled.
Yes. Let's see what we got here. Let's do a couple more and we'll close out for the day. And let's see if we can't actually find some in the review. Noble Prodigy. Ozpin is a planner. Going into this year is no different. Ruby Rose, leader. John Arc, diamond. Together, they'll make a frightening pair of team leaders. Oh no, they picked matching relics. Well, time to toss together a backup plan.
What? The backup plan is no. I said you can't be team. I said you can't be on a team together. I'm Ozpin. Plans changed.
Yeah, the backup plan is I'll put you guys together instead.
Like cast magic wind. You all go to different areas.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't think this is an interesting story. What changes in the story with John being on the team instead? Pyrrha still dies. Team Ruby still has arguments.
Who's he replacing?
Well, probably either Weiss or Yang.
It wouldn't be Weiss because he picked a relic. Therefore, it'd be either Blake or Yang.
I think Yang was the one who picked up the relic. Probably wrong.
Yeah.
Either way, I guess. Okay, so no, wait, no, hold on. Implying that they didn't meet eyes because they picked matching relics, which means that I guess it's Pyrrha, Weiss, Ruby, and John.
Yeah.
Okay, so Blake stays a terrorist. The White Fang doesn't get stopped. Roman steals the entire city's dust.
Pyrrha might not die.
No, Pyrrha's definitely gonna die.
No, she might not. She might have Ruby with her.
This honestly just sounds like the worst timeline.
Why would she have Ruby with her? That makes no sense. No. Ruby's paired with Weiss.
She might have Ruby and Weiss with her.
Why? She was asked to go alone.
Her team's fucking nosy. You know this.
Sure, but they're also currently under assault by the White Fang and hordes of Grimm, and Ruby has a hero complex.
That implies that it's okay.
And as far
It's
as
not a
Ruby
hero
knows,
complex.
no, it's a hero complex.
It's a hero fucking mall. It's that fucking huge.
That's her. And as far as Ruby knows, Ozpin just wants to talk to Pyrrha real quick. So why would she go with her when there's a bunch of people around to save?
Something, everything changed. Butterflies.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what I'm expecting the author to do.
Yeah, probably.
Somehow canon
way-
still happens, but Pyrrha gets saved because reasons.
Ugh, I hate that. Just lazy.
Yep. Let's see here. We got Adventure Romance, Pyrrha Nora, 22 chapters, 81k words, average update rate of pretty good. Reviews 124, 279 favorites. I mean, that's pretty good overall. Oh god, I'm not liking some of these reviews. In the chat, W's in the chat, boys. Ren is the bottom in the big relationship. What the fuck? Man, I hate Zoomers. I hate their language.
They are now forbidden from speaking.
We got Omega. After a nationwide reveal of his failed transcripts and a mission gone horribly wrong, Jean Arc finds himself exiled into the cold wild of Solitas. Realizing his dilemma, he has to dig deep to not only survive, but find his place in the world. His dilemma of his lies coming to roost and killing a bunch of people. Sure, great story, author. John Arc gets a bunch of people killed. During the investigation, he gets found out that he lied on his transcripts, so he gets exiled. John realizes this is bad. He might die out here. John, that's not what you were supposed to realize was bad. Not racked with guilt. Like, not racked with guilt, not desperate, not horrified, realizing his dilemma of being in the wild. That's what the author chose to focus on.
Yeah.
All right. I guess he's been taking lessons from Blake on deflecting.
Bro learned the perfect parry.
Arsenal of Arc. John Arc wants to become hero. John Arc goes out to become Arsenal. That's right, his name is Shirio Emiya.
Oh god. Why?
Just like in the stories, a Ruby Rose rewrite. Ruby wants to be a hero. She gets opportunity after helping against a criminal. But being a huntress is in a walk-in park. She has to go to class and deal with roommates and do homework. It won't be easy, but what's the worst that could happen?
Oh no, I have to do homework.
Yeah,
no.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
I have to do a basic human thing.
The stepmother, living under the fist of her father. Weiss and Winter Schnee did not have happy childhoods. Jacques is like not the sort of person that comes off to me as beats his kids.
I was gonna say, let's be clear. Jacques certainly caused hilarious and untold amount of trauma to those children. He did not do it by beating them.
Yeah.
In
And
fact,
unfortunately
they might have
for
actually had
them,
less trauma if he beat them, because at least he would have paid attention to them long enough to hit them.
yeah, true.
Ouch.
Unfortunately for them, their lives were about to get so much worse because a new member of the family inserts herself in, and she insists on being called their mother. Do not make her angry. Self-insert OC, crazy OC, horror, tragedy. By the way, I'm pretty sure that the stepmom couldn't even take the Schnee name. Because
No, she couldn't.
It's not
She-
Jacques.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Seeing Red. Female Adam Taurus, also on AO3. John times Adam Taurus.
You.
Okay. Okay. Alright, I think that's enough internet for the day.
Yeah.
Yep.
Alright, well, ladies and gentlemen, let's close out the day, but we'll see you on Friday, because there's always more, and it always gets worse.